I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told ya I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying Carhartt, car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll.
What is going on, folks? Team No Sleep. Montel, what's going on with you, brother? Get your head right. There it is. Get ready, brother. Get ready.
Man, blessed, man. Like I said, 10 toes down, 6 feet above, man. Can't do nothing but be blessed.
I tell you, I swear I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt one of these days, man. That's a good one right there, brother. So talk to me. You back from the Midwest, dropped off the young man,
Yep.
football camp.
Yeah.
Right, he's out there. Got the pass.
No, college football. He ain't no more camp, brother, man. He's at school, getting ready to get down and play. So, been blessed, man. Able to drop him off, get him out there, get him situated, ready to go. He's taking summer school classes right now to get himself acclimated to college, and man, just came, nothing but blessings, man, for the whole family, man. Just another one going to school. Another young man about to get his degree, hopefully in the next couple of years, and
sir.
He'll be where I'm at. He'll be at where I'm at soon, or even sooner.
Taking care of mom and daddy, right? You pay some of the mom and dad loans back.
Yeah. Get that fast track, man. Fast track onto that money grid. That's all.
Sir. Yes, sir. Look, brother, we got a gang of stuff to talk about. That's why we were a little late. Look, we trying to get cram as much stuff going on this week into a 60-minute time frame. So I'm not going to delay. Talk to us a little bit about what we got, and we got a young man behind the scenes. So you brought on home.
We have a special guest. Absolutely, we got a special guest, David Van Hook. Very insightful young man that knows about sports, knows about the social impact of sports. Has definitely two successful kids, Maya and Ethan. Maya was a basketball player. Ethan is a wrestler. He's ranked in the state of Oregon.
Okay.
He knows what the things that go on about sports as far as how it impacts the youth, how it impacts families, and and has a very stern word when it comes to social impact. So I really wanted to bring him on to be able to showcase his talent, not only on our show, talk about sports, talk about what he has going on, and he's working with Disney and everything. So, man, no further ado, let's bring David on the air.
Right, he brought you on like Steve Harvey, man. You can't. you better step up to the plate on that one.
Oh man, no, I appreciate the introduction and stuff. So my name is David Van Hook. I don't work for Disney. We run a Disney fandom podcast and stuff. But I'm open to a Disney paycheck. So if or even a guest role in Black Panther 2. So if they looking, I'm here.
Yeah.
But like the introduction said, I'm David. I do another podcast called The Marvel Tribe. I go by AKA the Blurred Hulk for all you guys out there on the geek side. It's stands for Black Nerd and the Incredible Hulk. So I do my thing. I do have two kids that they're making their way in the world, and they grew up through the ranks just like me, through sports and being a student athlete. And so I'm honored to get the opportunity to come and hang out with you guys. I love the stuff that you guys do, the conversations that you guys had. So I'm just honored to kind of just get to be a part of it. So.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get focused. Let's go and get into it. Busy time in sports. You guys watching the Olympics?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Got to.
I'm catching it every now and then, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point you make, right? You got to, right? Because this this essentially is the best of the best of the best, and they go to wherever country that they go to each 2 years or 4 years, each 2 years, summer versus winter, and they showcase their talents, and you got to support. Right, you may not understand the sport, you may not understand curling, you may not understand water polo, you may not know what's going on in rugby, but you kind of got to watch the sport to show your support. Since no one's in the stands right now, right? That's crazy. What has caught your eye for the most part this year of going on the Olympics? Either the games themselves or again the surrounding areas. What's going on in Tokyo again, since really no one is there, no fans are in the stands, and it's a whole different type of perspective. David, let's start with you, man.
Yeah, so I want to say that while this is the 2020 Olympics that's happening in 2021, the climate. There's a social climate that's being added to the Olympics. So the Olympics always been around. The OIC, they do what they do, and they have the rules or politics and stuff. But in the climate of the way the state of the world is right now, people are paying attention, and so I don't know if that's a blessing, because we may get the opportunity to actually have some discussions about some things and change some things that are incorrect, or if it's a curse or whatnot. But I do notice that. It's not just about the athletes and stuff. I mean, they should take front and center, and I'm here for it to cheer them on. But there's another participant in this Olympics and stuff, and that's the social climate about the rules and how they treat their athletes and what all the politicking and stuff. That's full front, and that's very evident. I think it's just a sign of the climate that we're in right now.
I agree with that. Montel, what about you, man?
Yeah, I think more of I think just the black eye of what they've done to the economy in Tokyo and Japan. I think this was a bad year, in my opinion, to kind of have the Olympics, just due, like you said, to the climate of the and the state of the pandemic that we're in. Obviously we're in this situation where Tokyo couldn't even have fans. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna have it anytime soon. They can recover all the money they put in to have the Olympics, and we also see how like you said, it's under no scrutiny with the iOS kind of having it and enforcing the hand to have it for TV time. I love the fact that we're able to cheer for the athletes that we have that we're rooting for. But again, there's no fans. There's no extra oomph that gives them that motivation to kind of be able to do it. It's kind of it's like a catch-22. I'm glad they're participating, but on the other hand, I mean, we talked about this before. Is their participation worth what we're going through in this pandemic right now, and what we're going through in society? I don't know if I don't think the pros outweigh the cons, at all. I think they should have said, we're going to sit it out. Tokyo will give it to you in another couple of years, and we'll just have to push everything out for them to be able to make that money back and things to happen. But I mean, it's here. We can't do anything about it. It's already started. I like some of what I see, but I like, and more so than the actual competition, I'm liking a lot of the backstories, because those are taken forefront, because those have to be the entertaining pieces for us to be able to stay glued to the TV, right?
Right.
So the backstories are really interesting to me, from the cycling to the Filipino young girl winning her first
gold medal
ever for the country. I mean, things like that, those are now becoming forefront stories, which they would be buried, if the Olympics are kind of back to the norm. So the backstories are really great, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, the 13-year-olds that are getting gold medals in skateboarding, right? And you got your boy Tony Hawk there. I mean, a lot of young folks don't know who he is, but you got to be 40, 50 years old, have a little gray hair to know who Tony Hawk was. But he's there. It's a troubling thing though as well, because we're hearing a lot about a lot of the athletes. I'm specifically talking about the U.S. athletes, right? So like the Simone Biles, and Naomi, she's playing for Japan, but the mental health issue, right, is coming back up into the conversation. So Simone had to actually back out again from the competition because she just wasn't feeling right. Again, we, the society, we, the fans, we, the community, and put a lot of pressure on her, and she's literally carrying the weight of the United States expectations on her shoulders. She said, you know what, I can't do it right now. So she had to kind of step back from that. Naomi was still reeling from a lot of the challenges that she had during the regular, I think it was Wimbledon, right, when she had to pull out. Talk to us a little bit about your thoughts on the mental health aspect. And again, you know, Simone Biles pulling out, and then Suni Lee, the pressure on her now that Simone was gone to actually go out there and kind of carry the entire torch and hopefully get that best all around and best overall. I won't give it away just in case anyone hasn't watched the replay, but you know, Suni Lee, she kind of did her thing. Just if you haven't watched it, I'm not going to give it away, but I'll just say that. Who wants to take first?
I'll go first. Just kind of set the tone. I mean, I believe we already know that mental health is a real issue. It's something that's very real. It's there. I just believe that now we have to be careful because this is a slippery slope that we're going in from critics. I applaud Naomi. I applaud Simone Biles because their body of work is so strong. They've proven they've been able to do it at the highest level and win and be excellent. But when you start throwing out the mental health thing, especially like Simone Biles did, her scenario was kind of set up for the slippery slope. You know, she scored the lowest she scored in any competition that one day, and then she all of a sudden says, "Hey, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm not with it. I need to pull myself out." Whether people deem it as an excuse or if it's real, doesn't matter at this point. It's now setting people to poke holes in that and criticizing. If you have a bad performance, are you just claiming mental health because you had a bad performance, or are you really going through some things or some really issues that are causing you to have a bad performance or causing you to go through some things like that?
Mm-hmm.
I believe we just have to be careful in navigating through those things. Yes, show empathy, but we know some people aren't going to show empathy. They could care less. They're going to tell you to step up because I think for us as the United States and and the athletes that are there, those of what we deem has made a lot of good players great under the pressure, under the situations that's going on. I always think of Michael Jordan when he lost his father. Father passed away.
Wow, yeah.
You know, he got murdered. You know, he set out a little bit. He came back. He dealt with it, and he won a championship. I believe the year afterwards. Monty Williams, coach, lost his wife and his wife in the car accident. You know, a year later comes back and deals with the whole thing. So there's athletes that deal with those things, deal with the mental issue, and able to and carry on, and that's kind of what starts to put them in that great category. I'm not saying Simone Biles or Osaka are not great because they are great athletes, but we got to be. I think for us, especially as African Americans, they always look for any issue, for anything to get us out of the spotlight and put somebody else there. I don't want this to be that stigma where they kind of start poking holes or start trying to create their own narrative of what we're going through for them in order for them to not achieve what they think that we're supposed to achieve.
That's real
so
talk.
I just think it's weird, man. It's that weird gray area that we're in when you say that from a critic standpoint.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm good what they go through. I mean, also I'm truly supportive. I just don't want to see the poke in the holes in that gray area, trying to figure out what's going on.
Makes sense. David, that's so you see we go beyond the ESPN and the Fox News, right? Again, these are the conversations that we typically have when we talk about the social impact of these sports, because no one's really diving as deep into these conversations as they need to, these awkward conversations. Talk to us a little bit about your thoughts again about the games in and of themselves, your expectation and your impression, and then again with so many athletes either not playing or discontinuing their play, and again mainly around the mental aspect, right? The mental health aspect.
No, absolutely. So mental health is absolutely a serious thing, and and I know Montel mentioned about Michael Jordan, who is a GOAT in basketball, and I understand where a lot of that motivation to bust stereotypes, to push through, to kind of just be excellent, so you're not fodder for the targets from all the haters and the doubters, and everyone says, "See, told you so." We're at a point where I'm like, bring it. I respect her. If her mental health is in jeopardy, only she could know that and stuff. She's gonna, no matter what she does, she's gonna have a critic. She could she could participate and do her best. And right now, the ILC they weren't they're actually looking at lowering how they were scoring her and stuff because other athletes couldn't do what she does. Where in the world does that exist and stuff? I mean, can you imagine if Jordan was told like you can only all your points, you only get 1 point, you can't score 2 points, and we're never going to give you a 3 point and stuff, but we still expect you to be great and hold it together and be a team player and everything else and stuff. All that pressure and stuff. I mean, they're asking her to perform below what she's comfortable with performing and stuff. And so critics, I'll just say this. A lot of these critics out there has never been a peak athlete in their life. They've never been professional. I'm just saying.
Speak on that right there.
I mean, we're talking the best of the best. You got people, and I'm gonna name drop. Just because of one, Piers Morgan, for example, called her out of her name. I doubt he picked up a football or soccer ball probably since he was 8 years old and stuff. The truth of the matter is, this is the climate that we live in. Social media is a beast that we have to deal with. But I think there's a generational shift that's happening to where we don't have to perform to your ability, to your expectations, to prove that we're not this stereotype or the stigma or anything, because they're always going to be they're always going to find a way to label us that. That's just how that game goes. No matter what we do, we can walk perfect and be the best athlete, be the best whatever. They'll find something and stuff. You're drinking the wrong thing. Don't you know the company that from that sports drink you're drinking for participated in this kind of thing, makes you a horrible person. They're going to find something. That's what they do. I mean, it's a full-time job for a lot of these haters and stuff out there. So for me personally, I think Simone Biles did what's right for her. And honestly, if that was my child, I'll tell her like, I'm proud of you, but you put your mental health over a gold medal. And that gold medal would have been won by you by yourself. Granted, you would have brought that home to America, but it's yours, and it was yours to decide whether or not you participate for it or not. So that's all I'll say about that. We're gonna people are gonna get grief about this, but the conversation is happening. I mean, you're having a conversation here on your show about the importance of mental health and stuff, and like I said, I think with the tennis player, with gymnasts, with even professional football players and basketball players, you're going to see more people kind of speaking out about their own truths and what's going on with them and stuff. I mean, I'd rather see that than some guy get a DUI, kill somebody, or beat their wife or something, because they feel all this pressure and they don't have a healthy way to just deal and stuff. So that's
I like what you said, David, on the comment. Like you said, she chose her mental state over a gold medal. I absolutely 100% agree with that. And I'm gonna play a little. I'm gonna poke a little hole in it.
I tell you what. Hold on, before you do that, because you about to go down the rabbit hole, but I want to bring someone in who I think can definitely contribute to this conversation as well. Who is in sports as well, from the high school, from amateur, from professional as well. He's in Oakland, California. This man I've known forever. He was in my wedding, so he's all right. I don't mind, even though he's showing up late. But we won't talk about that. Let me go ahead and bring this brother on. Brother Jerome Johnson, talk to us, man. How you living, man? Man, you better talk up, brother. You better talk up, man. Don't be cool. Talk up. There you go. Talk up now.
Can barely hear him.
Okay, he in Vegas, but you got to talk a lot, man. You got to yell or something. But take them fake AirPods out that you probably got overseas. Make sure you got the real ones in.
Yeah, still can't hear. Can barely hear.
Yeah,
barely hear his volume.
I tell you what, brother, you fix your audio and then we'll come back to you. I figured this was the perfect time to bring you in. Montel, go ahead and do what you got to do, man.
So I was gonna poke a hole in it. Sure. So I mean, do you think society would have? Let's take Ben Simmons, his debacle in the playoffs. If he would have said, you know what, I'm going through a mental health issue, that's why I played bad. Do you think the American public, us as fans, would have been as sympathetic as we are with Osaka and with Simone? as with him, or we would have just said, whatever, we brushed it off. Get your game together, brother. You need to get back in and just get a jump shot. Where do you think we would have took that realm? Because I think we're gonna judge each athlete individually differently. Am I correct? So how we would have judged him? You think?
So I'll say this: toxic fandom is alive and well, and it exists in a lot of sports, including football. We absolutely would judge people harsh. That's because we don't know better. This is a new realm. So when anything brand new is and it's not brand new as far as people all of a sudden are starting to have mental health stuff. That's been around, but that's just been under the veil. It just the way it is. It's kind of like players of color back in the day and stuff, like going through all the racist stuff that they've gone through, and now we're starting to see and uncover like, oh wow, it really was hard. I mean Jackie Robinson should have got a Nobel Peace Prize for some of the stuff he had to put up with and stuff. I mean, when you're hearing these stories, when that veil gets released, but during that time and stuff, you have that what I call is toxic fandom, because they're not willing to at least hear that person out and have some understanding for what's going on with that person. So no, they wouldn't treat that individual the same way they would Simone Biles, and it's unfortunate, but that's the truth. It doesn't make that what he's going through any less credible, real than what Simone is and stuff. That's where that toxic fandom is. And when we as fans have to sometimes check ourselves, we have to take accountability for how we judge other people and stuff and the stuff they're going through. Excuse my language.
It's all good, brother. Say what you got to say, brother. I'll put the explicit lyric on or tag on it when it's on you. It's all right. Brother Johnson, you back? Oh Lord, you done straight muted yourself now.
Oh no, nothing,
man.
Nah. Your
he
video,
got quieter.
Your video is there. So, I don't know, but you look good.
Yeah, the audio. I mean, the visual look real great.
Look, here's a technology man right here. He started in technology, and he I'm gonna talk bad about him until he get his audio right. Brother Johnson, keep it going. Keep working on your audio. Let's keep it moving. Let's talk about so the Olympics, obviously. So we dove into that, talked a lot about that, the persistence of the games, the fact that we need to pay attention to everyone's mental state and their reason for participating. Right. That I think
or not participating.
Or the reason for not participating. As well.
Yeah. We need to really respect that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you hear me with my USB mic?
That's much better.
Yes.
But now I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
Look, he don't know what he doing.
Man, I don't know what's going on here, man.
We hear you nice.
Changing in the
We
settings
hear you
here.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm in my USB mic, but let me go to my external.
Lord, he messing and do something so you don't have the echo, because I don't want to hear me. Nobody wants to look at me, and I know they don't want to hear me.
And believe me, my wife don't want to hear this either.
Now you sound better. Are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Jerome Johnson. Look, before you fall off of the internet and before your audio goes out again, tell the people who it is that we messing around with, who's causing all the delay in the show. Coach Johnson, talk to us. Who are you, brother?
Oh, man. You need to stop that, man. But no, I just came in on a pretty good note, man. When you guys were talking about, Simone Biles and just the mental state, of athletes, and I think what a lot of people, right? You can go down that rabbit hole on any athlete, and that's pretty much how some journalists get their name. And a lot of times, what people don't realize, those type of mental issues begin with young people who are from the ages of, from 8-year-old to 20, right? From elementary school to college. So when you walk into any locker room, and I don't know how many of you brothers been inside of a locker room, you have kids that are throwing up before games. They are mentally challenged before games. They panic, they hyperventilate. They don't know if they can live up to the pressure because of their mother, their father, people in the stands, their buddies, with with social media, and I've been doing this a long time. So I tell kids, really don't give a damn about social media. If you live social media, you wasting your damn time. Because anybody can, you can be anything on social media. You can be whatever you want. Hell, I can be an airline pilot on social media. You can be whatever you want to be. But as black athletes, black athletes will always take a hit. That's just part of the plight of a black man. You're always going to take a hit. That's just natural for us, right? So, and then people wonder why people like Jordan is very thick-skinned, right? Like he don't really say much, right? Because he feel, and if you really think about it, right? Jordan don't give everybody a front row seat in his life. Kobe didn't give everybody a front row seat. So, because Kobe didn't really care about what you thought, right? He really don't. Kobe, before Kobe died, he became more vocal, right? Y'all notice Kobe was talking more. He was out there with his daughter. He was doing things because it wasn't about him. It became more about his daughter, right? And so athletes, who are branded athletes, man, them dudes, man, they don't really care about what you think, right? And if Simone Biles felt like whether or not it was mental for her, whether or not she just had a bad showing and she didn't want to do it no more, it could have been either or, right? Only she knows that. And then everybody else is going to write a column to speculate based on the way they feel, right? Only she knows how she feels. But if you look at her body at work, they really just need to take a back seat and shut their ass up because that sister is awesome. There's nothing you can say about Simone Biles. Her body at work speaks for itself.
I believe that's what gives her definitely the edge up about her saying mental health is something that she's got to deal with and beyond because we've seen her perform at that high level. It's interesting what you were saying, Jerome. Like you were saying, we deal with mental illness every day or some type of mental aspect of sports every day. But I mean, I played sports. I think everybody here plays sports.
Right.
I don't want to confuse our audience with anxiety with mental issues because we all have anxiety when we're playing. I dealt with anxiety. The anxiety, I've seen people throw up. I've seen people do whatever. I've seen people scream. I've seen people punch other guys in the face to deal however they have to deal with it to get that anxiety out to get ready to play in a game. And I don't think that's mental. That's not a mental issue or mental health. I think that's just part of how your makeup is and how you want to deal with that particular moment of getting ready or prepared to compete.
But do you think mental health comes from the internal athlete, or is it comes from a parent, a coach, a friend,
all the above? I think it comes from everything. Okay. Everything above, everything you're dealing with in life, in your life, somehow comes out of that mental or that outlet that you want to release. And I believe that certain things will morph over other things. It will be your family will morph over the other issues that you're dealing with. So that can take that could be the one say, you know what, I can't deal with the family stuff. I gotta bow out. It could be your own personal health. But that morphs over the other things that are going on to take over.
At a certain point in any athlete's professional career, they all have someone that they can actually sit and talk to, right? They have a mentor, somebody that they can speak to. They have a sports psychologist, a therapist, someone that they can sit down and have that conversation with them so that they can actually, kind of get a grip on, is it just me? And, is it just the pressure? What is it, right? And then some athletes just want to be great, right? They just want to be great no matter what, right? You look at LeBron, he wants to be great. Every athlete that's out there don't share the same type of mindset when it comes to competition. And the ones that are at the top of the apex, Tom Brady, these dudes are they built different. These women, they're built different, right? So they have a whole different makeup and how they actually really approach the game. And I've had a chance to be around a few good athletes, and I've watched them, man, and they don't back down, mentally, physically, and they'll give you everything they got. And at the end of the day, if you go back to a la Aaron Rodgers, his latest, interview, when he talked about how these people are treated, right? That's a part of mental illness. And that really, it messes with a lot of them dudes as they leave because that's all they have, right?
Yeah. That's No, I agree with that. And like I said in speech, I think we're going to go into that, James, in a minute about his speech and everything.
Yeah.
I do believe that, but again, I don't want to confuse the anxiety because I know you set everything up when you were talking about how kids react in the locker room or before a game or during game. A lot of that, I don't know if that's mental a mental capacity, or is it anxiety? Like you said, people throwing
I'll
up
tell you,
before games. Sometimes it's just anxiety.
I'll give you a different challenge. I'll give you a different challenge. I'll tell you why it's part mental. I have kids that have come to me and say, Coach, during the week or even in the summer, and last year we went undefeated. So I have a kid right now. He said, Coach, I don't know if I could live up to what the last class did. So mentally, he's already shut himself down, right? So I talk to him every day about that, right? His parents called me and said, Coach, my son feels he can't live up to the pressure. To me, there is no pressure, right? Because we're going to coach him the same way we coach every other athlete, right? You know, the same, you know, EDDs we run through every day, the same QB drills he go through every day, the same shell drills we do every day, the same 7-on-7, the same 11-on-11, you know, inside run, all that. We still do the same thing every day. We're critiquing, right? But we don't compare them. And so it does come to a little bit of that mental part because they get a little bit uncomfortable, right? And they shut themselves down. But I do get you when you say anxiety, right? And they hyperventilate. But there are some signs that will let you know that this kid is gonna nut up on you. And that adult, and I've seen it in the locker rooms at Cal. I've seen it in the locker room at Contra Costa, where you got grown ass men that sit in the locker rooms and they nut up, you know, before games and after.
Yeah, because
So
I've been in that situation. Go ahead,
can I jump in
David.
there real quick? So
Yeah,
I get what you're saying because you know I mean like I said we all play sports. I myself I had anxiety you know when it comes to certain things and stuff. But those so for me when I talk about mental health issues and stuff, I'm kind of close to that world. I work with disability services and some of the people we work with have dual diagnoses and stuff. And when it comes to mental health, I mean. We're really talking about things that kind of every day that triggers somebody that there's things that will trigger us, you know, performing, speaking for a crowd, all that. It's a common, these are common triggers and stuff, performing and stuff like that. These are all common triggers. We all experience anxiety in some different type of ways, as Montel was talking about. But when it comes to mental health, actual, anything can trigger that. And usually things that are outside the norm and stuff that triggers that. Only that person, the psychiatrist, knows what those triggers are, and their anxiety manifests, and usually in a very debilitating way, something that you can't get over. I mean, there's people who have anxiety who can't get out of bed. I mean, they physically can't just get up and do. I mean, they lose their jobs, they lose their family, and you know. And I'm not diminishing people who have you know performance anxiety or different types of anxiety that they you know they step up to the plate. They figure they have their own tricks and tactics to overcome that and stuff. They have people they can talk to help you know put them you know at ease, saying that everyone goes through this. That you know. All those things are just different tools to help with that because it's a more known type of anxiety. But when it comes to real like not real, but there's another type of internal mental health that covers not just anxiety and stuff. There's chemical imbalances in some people. There's people who really fight and struggle with things, and we don't know what you know. At the end of the day, we don't know what some of these athletes who perform at peak levels go through and stuff, because some of us have never. I don't care if you play sports. Some of us have never been at that pinnacle height of performance and have expectations and stuff. I'll go back to the Jordan thing. If Jordan was ever asked to scale back his performance, he's used to performing at his best. Right. He has that drive, that motivation that's built into him. So did Kobe, so did LeBron, so does LeBron. If they're asked like, hey, we need you to scale back, can you imagine what goes into an athlete who's used to performing and giving his best? It's easy to know what giving my best means. I mean, I feel a certain way. I'm exhausted. I leave it all on the court. I got this and that. But to say I need you to give 50%. And if you don't give me 50%, I'm going to penalize you and stuff. That's a whole other piece of mental. That's a
psyche thing. That's more of a psyche kind of deal. And I know that's all. It's all incumbent in the mental health. I guess I'm looking at mental health in a different aspect, or maybe it's levels to mental health that it's not registered with me all the way. To me, in the mental health aspect, I'm thinking it's enabling you to do something it's enabling you to do something or to perform in that aspect. Not the anxiety part, not the nervous part, not the I got the jitters or whatever part, because we've all been there. I've been on the when I played, shit, everything came through. I was I've seen guys go through everything. I see myself go through certain things when I'm ready to play, and I go through different things depending on what competition I'm playing. If I'm playing against the best, my psyche is I'm all in. I'm dialed in so much I'm tight.
Right.
I'm playing against somebody that's not as good, I'm a little bit looser. Hey, I know these dudes aren't that good. My physical ability, I'll be able to take over. So the mental psyche, like confidence, and I think the story you were telling Jerome about your player, like he feels he can't live up to those expectations. That's more of a mental psyche. That's not mental health. That's more of a
Right.
confidence thing. And to me, that's the way I define it. Mental
No.
health is like, hey, I'm dealing with something that's unabling me to perform or to do things I need to do, especially in the
Well,
sports world. I'm not talking about bipolar and those things or
if
chemical
you
balance.
if you knew the kid that I was talking about, he kind of a little retarded anyway. So he got his own personal issues, but
Okay.
he's
There's more to it than
we call it a special. But no, you are correct. You're absolutely correct. It's a little bit more deeper, and I get where you're coming from.
Awesome.
Definitely. But you guys ever heard this? The bright lights affect everybody different. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys remember going to Arco Arena back in the day when the state basketball championship used to come to SAC, and everybody would go and watch the tournament.
Right.
And you would see, they would tell, Coach Derek Swarford over at SAC High. They would say, "Oh, Swarford, you can't never win a state championship. Every time the bright lights come on, you can't coach." Right? And I don't know, and I know it's not mental health, but the bright lights affect everybody different. It really does when lights come on.
I agree.
Yeah, expectations and things of that nature. Yeah.
Yep.
Expectations are so different. I mean, if you think about it, like Naomi, when you walk out into a tennis court or anywhere, and all the eyes are on you, whereas Serena and Venus didn't give a damn. Because you got to remember, they were trained by their father, who really didn't give a damn about what people said, because he made that clear. When he said it up front, and this is Richard Williams, his own words, and I hope I'm quoting this man right. Richard Williams saying, "I don't really give a damn if none of y'all like me." He said, "Where we all, when my kids were training in Watts, calling them picky head little Negroes, talking about them the way you were, saying that they will never make it. And all of a sudden, my daughters are the best in the world. And all of a sudden, you want me to give my daughters to you or anybody else to train." He said, "That's not going to happen." He said, "You ain't got to like me, but I got a whole lot of money." And he walked away from the cameras when he said that.
I love it.
And I respect Richard Williams 100%. But his kids are tough because he raised them to be tough. And a lot of athletes, and as you know, and if you touch on mental health, a lot of times, a lot of these guys are soft mentally because nobody actually really helped them out when they were young.
Look,
that's a whole other show.
We're
gonna save that for next week.
That's a whole other show.
Let me
change the whole trajectory of the show.
But I'm glad we stayed on that because it's relevant, irregardless of the Rodgers show that I had. I wanted to stay on that because there was some excellent dialogue, and you guys actually touched on a couple of things that I did want to make sure that we addressed as well. So Jerome, you brought up about Aaron Rodgers and his interview a couple of days ago, right? When he went back to the Packers and he pretty much gave it to him, right? At his press briefing, saying they didn't pay attention to him, they didn't listen to him. He's really contemplating whether or not he's going to suit up or whatever the case may be. Obviously now we know that he has re-signed with the Packers, put in some stipulations of kind of put himself in front in terms of how negotiations and things go, and how much say he has moving forward in the selection of players and conversations about what's going to happen around the organization, right, moving forward. That's one key thing. You also talked a little bit about the NIL piece. Right, and that's kind of so I know I'm bouncing back and forth, but again, I wanted to touch on that because the Rodgers thing, because you guys are all football players. I'm the only baseball guy here, but you guys are football players, so wanted to talk about that. Let me ask you, before I go into the NIL thing, about the Rodgers thing, right? Again, someone of his stature, because he's one of the GOATs. He's not the GOAT, but he's one of them. He can do what he can do out there, and he can still do it at a very high level. Coming out and putting the organization like a Green Bay Packers on blast like that in front of the world and telling them, look, y'all need to respect me. You need to give me my money. You need to listen to me in these corner office conference rooms because I can actually help you. Right? He said, I'm here to help you, help everyone to get another one of these rings on our fingers. Talk to us about that. It's not arrogance, but it's confidence. About that air of confidence that someone like an Aaron Rodgers has, making those kinds of statements. David, let me start with you and then go on to Brother Johnson.
So for me, there's a difference from an athlete to the back house, and there's a lot of those guys, GMs, owners, and what have you, and stuff that like to some of them played sports and stuff, but when it comes to guys who's actually proven that they know what they're doing, they know what they're talking about, and they know how to win, you need to listen. You just do. I mean, we're not so the bottom line is, I think what he did was he made sure that his voice was heard, because he eventually convince them that we all want the same thing. If you want the same thing that I want, then you need to unclog your ears and listen to how I believe we can get there. Because if we're gonna sign me, we need to do things the right way to get to to that ring, to get to that championship and stuff. Yeah. And obviously, reworking some things with that contract and stuff. Some people were listening, but yeah, I think there's it was bold. It was it was what was needed. There's a lot of players who go places where they don't speak their voice. They just perform, and they get put in situations to where it's out of their element. And I won't say it's with the wrong team. You can do anything with the right voices and stuff, with your talent and the right voices, and having that that latitude to speak up and to lead. But if that's silent, if you're falling under someone else's command, their motives, their drive doesn't match yours, and then this is what you have. You can have a good team that goes to waste. So that's I'm glad he said what he said, and they reworked their contract the way they did. So
Jerome, let me position it different for you, Jerome. Who else in the league could have made those types of remarks? When you step back and you look at all the teams, right? So again, right? Who else in that position, right, near the end of their contract, having the entire town, city, Lord, he's got the whole state, right? He's that follows him and is in love with him. But who else at that juncture in their career, he's been in the league 15, 16 years, could be as bold right now and make that kind of statement, right?
17.
Tom Brady, the only one.
The only person who can do that is Tom Brady. Tom Brady's the only person who can do that. There's no other quarterback in the league at any position in the NFL. Remember, the NFL, it stands for not for long, and you're not going to stay there, because it's a very cutthroat business. Mm-hmm. And that's why you don't find a lot of them talking, because they know at any given time they'll release them at the drop of a hat. So they don't say nothing, right? Aaron Rodgers, to me, what he did was powerful. It was deserving. I like the way he stood up, not only and the research he did for his former teammates, the rookies, the veterans.
Talk about that.
That left. I just thought it was for the way he stood up for Charles Woodson. Mm-hmm. The way he stood up for Randall Cobb. Jody Nelson, all these players that the Packers let go, and the way they let them go, and it started to bother him, and he began to realize that they're gonna do me the same way. And so he brought them to the table where they didn't want to be brought, and he put their back against the wall like nobody has ever done. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad he did it, to be honest with you. I think it was one of the most powerful speeches I've ever seen from a player, from a man who was a franchise man who did what he did. Now, Tom Brady could do it. Tom Brady is more the behind the scenes dude, but Tom Brady can go public, but he didn't have to. And the reason why Tom Brady did it, he didn't do it at the Patriots, because Bill Belichick I mean, what can you say about Belichick? All right, this man has won what, 8 or 9 Super Bowls? How many Super Bowls they have? It's really not a whole lot you can say. So people can say, well, it's really about Tom Brady. No, it's really about Belichick as well. Mm-hmm. But Tom Brady is the only QB outside of Aaron Rodgers that could make that type of statement and get the type of respect that he got.
That's what I think. I'm gonna say, hold on, and that's what I'll let you go on, but I wanted that piece to come out right there because I want folks to understand the significance of this man getting in front of national television and speaking his mind like that when anyone else, 98% of the other players in the league would have been out the door packing and back home by now. Again, right? It just would have not have been a good look. But there's only 2% of folks who could actually say that with such a powerful organization. So go ahead, Mattel.
Yeah, I probably would add Russell Wilson to that category too, as of right now with his career. I think Russell could speak his mind. He's been able to speak his mind somewhat in the Seattle organization and be able to go away with it. Maybe not as powerful as Aaron Rodgers did his. I do like the fact that what Aaron did is he's changed the narrative on what players' input are going to have in the NFL from now on, especially your star players. I think that him able to orchestrate them getting Randall Cobb back because he spoke so highly of Randall Cobb, how he was such a great player when he played with him and one of his favorite receivers. I think that players now, superstar players, will have input on what players they bring in for them to be able to help them be successful. I think you can only do that if you won a Super Bowl, and I think quarterback is going to be the only position that will be able to have that kind of impact in those kind of conversations with them because they are the face of the franchise. I do think I hold Aaron credit for a couple of reasons, not only for that speech and putting the organization on blast a little bit, but also for controlling his narrative with his new contract. He's out after 1 year. He's got 1 year and he's done. He's going to get paid. He gets paid maximum dollars for that. So now he's able to control himself to like, if I don't like this situation anymore, I'm out. I don't want to have to.
I don't have to give back any of my signing bonus, right?
Yeah, I don't have to give back any of my money or anything.
Yeah.
So he's changing the narrative. I think, and like we said, there's only a few guys that can do that. I think Russell, Tom, and I think Mahomes will be in that conversation real soon. He wins one more Super Bowl. He's the guy that can say that as well. Everybody else is going to have to just follow suit. And like you said, Jerome, the NFL is one of those places where you cannot put a stain. You can't stain it. Ask Colin Kaepernick. You can't do anything to stain the NFL because if you do, they will ostracize you out of there. They will ostracize you out of there. Whether you're right or wrong, if it gives them a stain on their eye or a stain on their resume, they will get you out of the league some form, some fashion, somehow. Now the thing is though, players like Russell, Brady, and Aaron are shining light on that little bit of dirt. They're starting to shine light on that little bit of dirt that's out there and saying, okay, we're going to start holding you guys a little bit more accountable as well. This is just about play. Aaron's is just about play. I think it will start to carry over a little bit, a few more issues where they can start shining some light on the things that the NFL are doing wrong by their players. Obviously, we know the CTE stuff and all the other things that they kind of sweep under the rug that they never want us to know about. I think there will be some light kind of shed on some of these things going on in the future because now that secret door, there's people they're peeking in now and they're seeing what's going on. So I appreciate Aaron's conversation. I think Green Bay. Let's be honest with you. If I'm a millionaire, you can't tell me what to do. If I'm a billionaire, you ain't gonna tell me what to do with my money. Not ask the Washington Redskins. I do what I want to do with my money. I spend it the way I want to, and I spend it the way I want to. But Aaron is talking about if you want to win, then I need you to help pick up these pieces. If you just want me to be a part of the organization, then I want to be out of here and I don't want no more part of it. And a lot of people are just happy just to be a part of the organization because that's their paycheck. Yeah. It's not about everything's not about winning with him, but with him he wants to win. So I think that it's a couple of different narratives in that. But Aaron did his thing, man. He's opened up some doors. He's gonna open up some conversation pieces definitely with his new deal and the way he came about.
Tell you what, we got a couple more stories, but so David, I want to ask you one question, and if you can briefly answer, and I just thought of this. So is Aaron Rodgers the NFL's LeBron James? Because LeBron is kind of the face of the league, right? When he's on the court, when he's off the court, what he says in social media, what he says in the news, whatever, kind of the league from a social perspective follows his movement. this kind of, in my mind, kind of elevates Aaron beyond Brady, just again in terms of being able to steer the conversation, because he stood up to such a legacy type of organization, rewrote his paperwork, and now and gave props, like you were saying, to the old players that were removed prematurely from the organization. Is Rodgers the LeBron for the NFL?
From a social standpoint, he is, and I'll say it like this. So we said, it was mentioned, Russell and Mahone possibly following what what Rodgers did, absolutely, but they could not have did what Aaron did. Yeah. Aaron opened the door to where there's no black quarterback that's ever going to open a. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but there's no black quarterbacks that open a door unscathed. They're like Montel said, they're going to find your exit at some point and stuff. So he opened that, he cracked that door open. Now we can have some of these other leaders and superstar quarterbacks and stuff walk through it and demand more of the ownership and stuff, of the coaches and the management, the front office and stuff. But yeah, so in that respect, in the social aspect of that dynamic between players and the office and stuff, he absolutely is in my opinion, he's the LeBron for doing that, because like Montel said, that leadership spot is the QB. That's to your face. And that position alone is the only one that can do that. Now, not only that position can do it because someone already did it, other athletes, like I said, we have black athletes who are leaders on their team, but they've never really been, not that the front office treats, we all know the dynamics. I'm not going to mince words. They treat their black athletes different than their white counters in the same leadership position and stuff. So it took Aaron Rodgers to crack that door open. Yeah. In order for someone like Russell and McCombs to come in and do whatever they're going to do as well too and stuff. So not saying they have anything planned, but yeah. So yeah.
I love it. So is the NFL doing enough? The NFL is trying to do some things, and here's this story that I wanted to tie into that. Story came out. The NFL is going to be playing the Black National Anthem before every game starting this coming season. So lift every voice and sing. Who knows? I don't know if they're going to sing it or they're just going to play it. That's going to be interesting to see as well. But
I hope they sing.
Well, who gonna sing it? Let me ask you who. We know Alicia Keys did it at the Super Bowl a few years ago. They obviously can't have her every game, but it'd be interesting if someone new sang it as well. But talk to me about your guys' thoughts on this, right? So the National Football League, we've been talking a lot about controversy. We've been talking a lot about the powerful nature of the organization as well. It's a lot of old money. We know a lot of folks are concerned about this. They really are, right? A lot of that old money is concerned about the Black National Anthem being sang at every single game. Talk to us a little bit about this, Martel. I'm gonna start with you, man.
I mean, it's to me, it's late, man. This is late. This is beyond. These are things that should have been done a long time ago. And again, the league is doing this to appease African American artists because we hold such a stronghold not only in the league but also as fans.
Yeah,
we're a large market, so we still haven't forgiven them for what they've done to Colin Kaepernick and his situation. And this, I think, is a beginning to try to see if they can mend it by saying, hey, now we're playing the Black National Anthem. That doesn't change anything of what they've done or what they're doing. This is a Band-Aid, in my opinion. This is not. This doesn't fix anything or change anything that's been done. I can't wait to see it sung in the Super Bowl because they'll have a superstar sing it there.
Right.
But is this going to be sung instead of the regular national anthem or right after the national anthem, or are they going to sing it along with the Canadian anthem?
They're going to do both. They're going to do both. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if we have a Canadian lead, do they play the Canadian national anthem? I mean, I know it's more of a respect thing, and it's great that they're doing it, but to me, it's late, man. I mean, we 5, 6, 7 years late for you to do this. This is more of a Band-Aid thing to kind of say, okay, we have some knowledge and we're trying. We're past trying. It's now doing. NFL, do African American players right. Stand up for social injustices that affect us as well as you, because they'll be quick to say something about cancer and wear pink, but you won't do anything about cops beating our ass. You won't say anything about them arresting us wrongfully, but you'll stand up for LGBT. You'll acknowledge that that's a cause that you want to be acknowledged of, but you won't acknowledge our struggles and thing that goes on in our community. So this is a beginning part of it, and I get it, and I understand it, and I appreciate it, but it's late. In my opinion, it's late. And I'm happy for it, but let's see how many people sit down when this is played. You know, they want us to stand up when the white national anthem is played.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's see if they stand up when the black national anthem is stayed, and will there be any repercussions for that?
Or even come out on the field. I see.
Or do they even come out on the field? Or what? I mean, what ramifications is that? And if a white player leaves when a black national anthem plays, is he deemed as racist? If he takes a knee during a black national anthem, is he deemed as somebody that's against it? This is just, man, this is just something that's a ploy to me, as far as that, to try to say, hey, we're trying to do something about acknowledging black folks in the black market that we have in the NFL. And I don't know if this is the right cause or anything, or the right solution, but to me, this is just way late. And I don't know. Right now, I don't know what to think of it, to be honest with you.
All right. And the reason I bring it up, well, obviously for the social impact of the situation, but kind of spearheading the conversation to get this going was Jay-Z. Right. He's in there trying to help drive the initiative, the Inspired Change initiative. And one of the things that they recommended was to do this. But essentially, you're pretty much saying, or let's talk a little more action. Right. And let's do a little bit more than singing. Let's do a little more than singing.
Yeah. We bash the ages of shucking and jiving and just entertaining. When you're making billions and billions of dollars off of us, why don't you give some more back to our community? Why is it there has still not been an ad from the NFL saying, hey, you know what? We do not support police brutality. Colin Kaepernick did this 7 years ago. Right. Took a kneel because social injustice. There has still not been one ad from the NFL and the players saying, hey, we do not support police brutality. Where's that motherfucking ad? Excuse me. Where's that ad at? You know what I mean? Where's that conversation there? Where's that saying? Because we all here don't agree with police arresting us wrongfully and beating on us and wrongfully killing us.
Yeah.
This man stood up and lost his career for it, and yet you have not made a free commercial, which you could do, because I'll say, hey, I want to be in that. And every great player or every player from every team would participate in that, doing a campaign that says we don't support it, period. Wow. How hard is that to do? The NBA stood up for it. Black Lives Matter, they wore jerseys. NHL set out games and kneeled and held arms in solidarity in a sport that only has less than 50 African Americans participating in it. WNBA set the tone. They did it. Yet the person that spearheaded this, we can't even get a free ad throughout the players to say we don't support that cause. The owners have yet to do that. So, but now you want to play us in the Black National Anthem to say it's all forgiven. I don't believe so. I'm not buying it.
I love it. Y'all see why I went to Montel with that question, right? Because the brother went in on that.
I feel him laughing. I seen him crack some smiles on what I was saying, but I mean, that's where I'm at with it.
No, I co-sign exactly what he says. So you have an organization who has the power to make effective change, going to the same old playbook, which is meaningless symbolic gestures. It costs them nothing to think about what's going on, why Cap did what he did to make some changes and stuff. But it was easier for them just to go to the symbolic playbook, just like some people do with Black Lives Matters by let's make a mural painted on the street. Let's tear down the Confederate flag, statue, which that should happen and stuff. But in what people really want is we want change. We want accountability. We want justice. We want people to be held accountable. Simple as that. Right, wrong, or a difference. If I get pulled over, I don't want to have to sit here and think whether or not I'm going to die in my car and stuff. I want actual meaningful changes and stuff. And these organizations, if they're going to step up to the plate, then you got to do it with more than just symbolic, empty gestures. And I'm sorry, I get that Jay-Z's a part. They brought him in, to for the music and features and all that stuff. Then he has a say over who gets to perform at the Super Bowl. that's fine for Jay-Z. But honestly, the NFL is the catalyst that sparked a lot of this stuff with Kaepernick.
Wow. Yeah.
And they had the ability to help push that forward and make some actual changes and stuff. So yeah, it's to me, it's a symbolic gesture. Those are the easiest things for people in power to do, is to put that out there, just placate to the masses, to kind of stave them off, and to just kind of say, hey, look, we understand you guys and stuff, and we're going to give this to you so you guys don't be mad at us anymore, and come and give us money and watch us and cheer for us and stuff. Yeah. And I'll be honest, that's all that is. That's their end goal. Their end goal isn't about making effective change. Their end goal is to get their revenue base.
It's financial. If folks that are watching and listening, we all know that it's about financial. Well, hopefully folks understand it. It is all financial based. So that's true, man. We're going to go a little over today because we definitely getting in, and hopefully you guys have about 10, 15 more minutes to go, because I really want to get into this NIL conversation. And again, you guys all are attached to it in some sort of way. I want to tell you, I mean, you're closer to it, literally right now, right? Your son is probably, having these types of conversations, and Jerome, I know you are maybe having these conversations and have some opinions, but, there is one guy who just recently got some deals, and he's making $800,000 already. The season hadn't even started. So Alabama quarterback Bryce Young has already signed $800,000 worth of deals for his NIL name, image, and likeness. Folks, we've been talking about this for a minute, so this is reality. Ever since they said that this was official ability to do, and that the amateur athletes can actually start making revenue off of that name, image, and likeness, folks have been jumping on that. We've seen people that are signing deals for appearances. You go to the movie theater and you say, welcome to the movie theater. Here's a check for $100,000, whatever the case may be. Coach Saban, I love what Coach Saban said in this article right here. He says, it's obvious to me that Nick wanted to, hold on, let's see. Essentially, he made the statement that he's not surprised by this fact because of the brand of Alabama football, that he sees these types of things coming even more for his athletes, and then for also the top tier athletes, regardless of what school they're going to. Talk to us a little bit about this, man, because we also touched on this a little bit. 18, 19-year-olds now got $800,000 in their pocket just because they showed up at the local Burger King and passed out some burgers and fries. What does that do to someone who maybe is coming from not much to now they got a whole lot in school and they haven't even signed that professional contract yet? Jerome, let's start off with you, man, and your thoughts on this situation and then the whole NIL thing overall.
Man, I think, to be honest with you, it's well overdue. I think these student athletes, should have been compensated a long time ago. We all know that. I mean, it's always been, a situation where, the NCAA has always been one that, it was all about the money for them. It's never been about, compensating these young athletes, male or female. Bryce, Young, he came from, modern day. So he came from a big environment in Southern Cal. So he's used to having, a big name. And so going to Alabama made it even better. I mean, if you go anywhere in the SEC, and you're going to make some money, and I'm all for it. Now, when you start talking about these kids making this type of money, it makes you're happy in one way, right? Then you're a little uncomfortable. You say, okay, now who's going to help this child manage this money? You just hope that they have parents who are knowledgeable enough to say, okay, let me protect my child. Let me make sure this money is managed right. And so at the end of the day, where there's a great opportunity for these young men to make as much money as they can, and there's also a danger where this young man could lose his damn mind and then he end up broke, not going in the NFL. So there's a good and a bad in it. And so I'm just glad that they're able to make money.
Look at that. The deal is with Cash App. And, that's what the kids use, right? It's Venmo, Cash App, or whatever else it is. And that's six-figure deal right there, making commercials. I love it. David, your thoughts on it, man?
Right.
So I'm gonna say that it is about time, but I'm gonna throw a caveat out there. I 110% believe in financial literacy. And I think before you're eligible to even participate in the NIL, to get endorsements or get anything, you have to take a financial literacy class. Period. You may not benefit. Some won't benefit from the class. They'll just pass the class and then they can go about earning endorsements and stuff like that. But I'm absolutely about putting our best foot forward to set up people than to set up people for success and to set them up to fail. Because I can absolutely see a cautionary tale where somebody is making a lot of money through this, and if they wind up in the league, they may end up in debt, upside down, and that's new. I mean, can you imagine a player who just got signed to a brand new contract where half of that contract is going to pay off all their debts and stuff that accumulated because they're trying to live a lifestyle that they really had no idea how to live financially and stuff. And then, when it's come to get those contracts and stuff, it's money's wiped off the table from the get-go. You owe Uncle Sam. You have to pay taxes and stuff for a lot of this and stuff. And I remember when I was a freshman in college, I thought, getting a credit card. I remember getting, I only applied for credit cards because I got free stuff. I got a box of Top Ramen, free T-shirt, and then a couple weeks later, I got my first $500 credit card, $1,000 credit card and stuff. And believe me, being a broke college student is a real thing, and you find emergencies in a lot of areas in your college life and stuff that you spend money on. So with that, I'm in support that they should be compensated. There's no way that football coaches are the highest paid public educator, and the players are not making anything off of that. The school's profiting, everyone's taking a piece of the pie, but the players themselves. So I'm for that, but I really wish they did something to kind of help protect them, like taking the financial literacy class. So that's all I'll say about that.
No, I mean, because you've got to go through that before you go into the professional league. Right, you've got to sit through that course, that conversation with all the old heads, right? Talking about this is what to expect. You're gonna have all these people coming at you out of the woodwork, wanting some change and wanting to be part of your squad, and you need to find a lawyer, you need to find an investment representative, things like that. Hopefully, they're doing that at the schools, and hopefully that was already established before a lot of these deals got signed, because now we're starting to see the deposits happening in these kids' checking accounts. They're going out and buying their mama, new house or new car, whatever the case may be, and getting the jewelry, getting whatever. But again, keep some of that in the bank. Let invest that properly and have the conversation with someone who knows about how to manage money effectively. Montel, we've talked about this forever, man. Talk to us about what you think about this young man in particular already getting,
I'm all for athletes getting paid. I always thought there should have been a different mechanism for them to get paid. This scares me in the retrospect of now. We were talking about psyche and mental health. What is a coach just making $50,000 gonna tell an athlete that's making $800,000 what to do? What does that do for your program? Because we're dealing with 17, 18, 19, 20 years olds that, especially when you get that kind of money, you think you know it all because you're going to go to the league. How is that coach going to be able to prepare him and coach him? Nick Saban can say he can do it because of his staff,
right?
But I mean, and maybe that's right or wrong. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I bet you that quarterback coach is making $800,000 a year. His quarterback protege is making more money than him. That's crazy. You tell me what is he going to tell him what to do?
That's crazy.
I'm already making $800,000. What can you tell me what to do better to improve my game? You're not going to deal with that with every player, but you're going to deal with that with some players because that's the mind psyche that they're in, especially now with social media being a big influencer with that. Also, the pressure. People are not talking. You want to talk about pressure. You're a guy that's in college, supposed to be on the number one team. You're making $800,000. You're playing against Clemson, and you have a bad game. because your expectation, since you're making $800,000, you're playing for the number one team, is you're supposed to ball out every game and be the best every time you step on down that field. So you want to talk about pressure? He's a senior, so he'll be able to get up out of it. But can you imagine if it's a freshman or a sophomore that has to go through this and try to figure it on out? Number 3, everybody knows you're an instant target now. Now, where he's from, he may not be someone that's a target, but if you come from Southside Sacramento, or you come from East Oakland, or you come from the swamps of LA, as soon as you go home, you're a target.
Wow, yeah. Speak on that. Yeah,
you are a person that I am going to jack because I know you. I know you just got $800,000, Mr. Hicks. I know you. I know where your mama live. Me and you are close friends. I ain't got nothing. My pockets are empty. Your pockets are full. And we've all heard those cases where something bad goes wrong. And all it's going to take is one bad thing to happen to go wrong in this situation with these guys getting this money. I don't know if no one's talking to them about that. And I hear you, David, about financial literacy. I think now it's survival literacy, because anybody that goes to UFC that's making this kind of money, you step 2 blocks off that campus and someone recognizes your face, you are a target.
Yeah.
Yep.
You are now an extortion target. You are now a kidnapping target. What's to say somebody kidnaps this dude and hold him for ransom now?
Wow.
Well, what's to stop that from happening now?
Yeah, that's real. So let me piggyback off of that and that point number 3 and ask you this, Jerome, because you're current coach. You have to build that trust with your players, and I would think that a handful of your players, you have the relationship to where, irregardless of what they got coming into their bank account, that you can still sit down and talk to them man to man and have a real conversation with them. How are you preparing to have conversations that address what Montel was just talking about, those 3 points?
Well, here's what's interesting about that. I have a kid who plays for the Green Bay Packers, and I remember talking to him when he was in high school about financial literacy, just basic concepts of financial literacy. And I remember telling him, I said, look, man, it's just basic math. It's not that hard. I said, even if you took $1 million and you just set it in an interest account only, negotiate the best interest. You don't need to be the smartest person in the world. Even if you didn't spend that money, you don't have to touch it. You were broke before you got this money. Mm-hmm. You need to leave this money alone. And the one thing that this kid, the difference with this kid, he went to Bishop O'Dowd. So his parents were okay. Nobody was desperate. So nobody was in a position where, as soon as he went into the NFL, nobody's hands was in his pocket. But he did take care of his parents because I told him that was the right thing to do, right? So I think a lot of these.
Yeah, Mr. King, Mr. King, Kevin King. Yeah, I know Kevin and his brother.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
so
you know TJ?
I know his younger brother, because I coach with Hardy there at Bishop O'Dowd. Yeah, his younger brother. Brother went to Washington. Trevor. His little brother went to Washington as well. Yeah, so I coached him with Hardy, and I remember Kevin King was there along with Hardy Nickerson Jr. and all those other players that went there. So he's a special young man, talented on the field. He was a special young man when he was at Bishop O'Dowd. So I can see that conversation with him, and I believe, like you said, the literacy part, I think, is something I think the NCAA should provide, but they're not. Let's be honest with you. They don't want to see a bunch of black rich millionaires within the NCAA. That's going to be something that hopefully coaching staffs and young student athletes take that upon themselves to go get that knowledge. But I'm really having a hard time understanding how a young 18-year-old and 19-year-old is going to have to decipher when he had nothing. And I've been to where kids have nothing because my son coached at South Carolina. I met some of his players that come from nothing. And when I'm talking about nothing, I mean there's 16 kids living in a shack, in a 1-bedroom shack back in the thing, and he's the only guy that's made it so far. So when they're living from nothing, and all of a sudden you give this young man $100,000, it's hard for me to tell him about financial literacy when it's like, I'm trying to get my family up out of there to eat and let them do well. And now, not only with that, I got to keep performing at this level or even better so I can get me some more money so I can help provide some more. And then what comes wrong with that? What if I get injured? The money stops running. Now what do I do? Or you know what? I'm not listening to my coach because I'm at a point I'm so good. I'm not even listening to him much, and I'm not working myself to get better. I'm not driving myself to get better. I think I've reached my pinnacle to where I'm at in order to do things good. I think we talked about a mental issue within athletes. We're about to finish. We're about to employ a whole new dynamic now that this money's involved.
Yeah.
Because 17-year-olds to 21 years old, I don't feel have the right aptitude to manage that kind of money. Managing $1,000 and managing $100,000 is completely different.
See, and
But that's
you
when
brought
you hope and pray to God that you just hope and pray to God, man, that they have, you know, parents or someone that can help them.
But Jerome, you speaking on all. Let's be real. We know parents that come from that don't have that. That don't. And I'm sure you coach kids and their parents don't have that. They're great athletes. They're great players. They gonna get in that level. They want to just bling on out. They want to get the gold fronts.
Yeah.
Mamas want gold too. They both like Pop Smoke or whoever. They're just not in that state of mind that's there. And let's believe it or not, it's more so of those than there are the ones you're saying they got parents that are financially literate and can give them some understanding. So with that being said, we about to deal with, like I said, we're about to deal with a whole new mind psyche of these kids, understanding one performance, the mighty dollar, going broke, getting rich, going broke, not having an opportunity to play in the NFL because we know a lot of great college players don't make it to the NFL.
Yep.
Where's all this stuff going to go and what's going to happen? I told James this before off the line, I think last week. Me personally, in the next 4 or 5 years, we're going to be dealing with a high suicide rate within college athletics. Because you trained your life so hard to get to that point to try to make to the professional leagues. You made a little bit of money in college and you don't make it. The money stops. The applause stop. The cheering stops.
Right.
You know, when that stops and you have nowhere else to go, when your problems outweigh when your pain outweighs your problems, that's when you want to end it all. That's the psyche of someone that's suicidal. So I'm scared.
I mean,
this era I'm very scared of. I'm scared of.
I mean, I'm quite sure, Montreal, you saw that. I don't know how well you know Hardy, but Hardy is a guy that is he is a football junkie, right? He loves football, and you know I talk to Hardy periodically, but you know Hardy's the type of guy that the whistle blow, and he act like he got a helmet on. You know, that's just Hardy. You know, and so, but I've seen it too. I've seen it when I was coaching at CC with Zoe, and you have guys that we would bring over from Cal that didn't make it in the draft, or you know they had a tryout and they didn't make it. So we're trying to get them into coaching at the JUCO level, and they would come out and you could just see their face. You can see it, like there's nothing, no glory, no cheering, no nothing. Right? You know what we tell them? Right there on San Pablo Dam Road, you better come over here and get one of these $5 Hot Pockets, bro. You know what I'm saying? And keep it real, because at the end of the day, this is reality. Everybody don't get to go to the NFL. And and once you leave from your alma mater don't give a damn about you. Once you go, you're done.
I agree with you, Jerome, but I think that was a different dynamic than now. Because now we're going to deal with that kid that just had $100,000 in his pocket. It wasn't like he had nothing. He graduated and he had ambition to make something that he still didn't make nothing. We're talking about a kid that now he just had $100,000 in his pocket. He just had $75,000 given to him, and now we're dealing with that dynamic. So I'm terrified because let's be honest, man. That bad element sinks into sports all the time. And now I think the bad element that we've been avoiding, where there was no money involved, is now involved in collegiate sports, and that bad element will sink inside of college sports. And I mean, you know, some guys are gonna want to flip it. I got $75,000. I'm gonna go do a dope deal and try to flip it to $150,000. Now that kid's whole career is gonna be out of the window because he's tried to do something different. Whereas before he didn't have that kind of money to even try to flip, so he wasn't interested in that. So I just believe we're interested in the whole dynamic.
I mean, I ain't gonna call a name, but you might notice these some kids out of Oakland that went to San Jose State and came back and robbed somebody, ended up losing their scholarships. They were going to Mac, and it was kind of an embarrassment that they did that, and there was no reason for them to do it.
Yep.
And I remember getting a phone call, and I was like, "Man, are you serious?" When I got the phone call, I said, "Are you sure this fool did it?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I looked it up. Come to find out, it was them. And I ran into them about 5 or 6 months later at a game. And they looked at me and they put their head down and said, I don't even know how to respond to you. I said, you can't. Because there was no reason for you to do the shit that you did. So you're right, Montreal. It is going to be different because now you got kids who got a hood mindset that say, well, shit, I got 50 grand or 100 or 175. I got some partners in the hood. I'm going to go flip it. And yeah, there are going to be some poor choices. I'm just praying to God we have better choices. And I know that we're going to get, once again, somebody's going to look for the negative, and it's definitely going to come out. You might even get point shaving on games. All that stuff's going to come out. It's going to happen. The ugly.
I know, David. Go ahead,
Dave.
I wanted to chime in because actually, what you guys are talking about really kind of illuminate. Like me, I was focusing on the financial aspect of it. You have all this money and stuff, but I honestly think there is equal weight to this conversation. What you guys were mentioning about is the culture, the climate of what it looks like for a student athlete who's about to be blessed with a lot of money, and I was looking at it from a perspective of the NFL culture, the league versus right now NFL player, they're all making money on the team, right? There's a minimum, and and that's the way that is, and they also kind of are segregated and stuff. They're not living among you and I and stuff, or for the most part, they're living where other millionaires and stuff live, where that their money, their pockets don't it just not impress. It doesn't impress them. The stardom does, the celebrity piece does, but they're living in $1 million homes is next door to other $1 million homes. So that they're in that they're segregated, they're separated from the average fan and stuff. These college kids, though, I mean, God, college kids making 800 grand and stuff. He's making 800 grand in the middle of where there's kids who are struggling in school, not just thugs from around the way from your old neighborhood and stuff like that. Right now in school, they're players, they're linemen who ain't making anything. They're supposed to block for you and protect you and stuff. Maybe part of that $800 should come to me. I'm broke. You break me up 10 grand.
If you watching my blind side, you better kick me down with a couple of Big Macs or something too. No, you're
something.
Right. You're right.
There's all that. That whole culture is.
That's what I'm saying,
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
you're hitting the right. I'm saying we're entering into a whole new mindset and mind frame in college athletics, and we haven't even began to talk about the recruiting piece, how the like I said, I believe certain geographical areas are going to prosper more than others, because if I'm USC and UCLA, hey man, I'm the best. I got movies here. We can get you paid instantly to do extras in movies.
Guarantee you
we can get you on TV. We got so much that we can offer you, more so than you going to Iowa, or you going to the Big Ten, or you going to anywhere else. So you got so many different dynamics now that this is brought to, because this amount of money is being involved. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I thought when they said the NL, okay, they're gonna make a few $1,000, guys gonna get maybe the most 25,000. These dudes is making 800,000. Percy Miller kid got a $2 million off the bat, and ain't even played a game. So when these things when money like that is being thrown at them, I'm telling you right now, I know for a fact, playing football and being on the team with guys and playing at the collegiate level, the mindset is like, yo, this dude got $2 million and he ain't even balling. He ain't doing nothing. He barely starting because of his name, and I'm killing this dude every time. What makes him 20? Now, not only am I becoming his teammate, I have animosity towards him.
Yep.
I got a lot of animosity towards this kid.
Right.
Yep. I got animosity toward him, and now we got all. It's just, man, this is just gonna bring a whole different dynamic to collegiate sports, and I wish they would have brought about it in a different way. But I do believe NCAA did this on purpose to demise these teams, to make it break up, to make it be segregated.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
If you have a strong head coach, now there's a lot of strong head coaches in the NCAA, right? And we all know Nick Saban is, and Dabo is one of these strong voices, but there's quite a few out there, right? So it's not hard to look and see whether or not, a tackle or a guard is sabotaged in certain situations. Now, it's easy to pull that kid aside and say either one or two things. You do that shit again, and your ass won't be on this team, right? That ain't hard to do.
Well, y'all
right?
saying that now
At
anyway,
Alabama,
right? I mean, as a good coach like you're probably saying that right now anyway. So,
But Jerome, you only need one play though. That blind side, you only need one play to do that, to get that star quarterback hurt or that star running back hurt. So it doesn't have to be multiple times of like, oh, coach, I made a wrong read or a mistake where I can cover myself. I think we get, kids are a little bit more intuitive to that thing. I'm saying
kids know the gray area.
Kids
definitely know that gray area.
We know when shit is deliberate or somebody just missed it. Right? We know, right? Yep. And so and they know, right? So at the end of the day, if you don't want to ruin your chances of going to the NFL, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to touch you. If you're kicked off of LSU, Texas, or Auburn, or Georgia, or them schools because you did something as unethical as that, then you have no career now. So at the end of the day, you're probably right. There's going to be a lot of things that's going to, but I'm quite sure those coaches are going to have those conversations with those players. And I do agree, like what Dave was saying about if you're making $800,000, if I'm a QB and I got my lineman, first of all, I'm gonna take care of my lineman because at the end of the day, that's if I don't care if Bryce is in pistol, if he's in gun, if he's under the center, doesn't matter. If them big hogs up front don't max protect for you, you ain't got nothing, right?
Yeah, but
so at the end of the day.
Well, I think we're speaking in extremes, though. That's 800,000. That's Alabama. Let's talk about that smaller market team where the quarterback's just getting $10,000. You're still gonna have that same jealousy and animosity on that line. The jealousy comes in all frames and sizes. I believe this is a Pandora box in college football, college athletics that just opened. That it's gonna be hard to close, and we're gonna see a lot of ugly coming out of this that we've never seen before.
I welcome it. Let them get their bread. I welcome it.
Yeah.
I want them to get their bread because my son's a college athlete. I want him to get his bread too, and hopefully get some.
There you go.
But you want him to send a couple of nickels back to the house too, right, mom and daddy.
But also, I'm the purity of the sport and playing football and playing for the right reasons. I just believe. I don't know if the field. I don't think there'll be field issues so much to say like someone letting up, but I think we're gonna see a lot more off the field issues and the off the field dynamics that we haven't been used to being able to see, or that's going to be shunned under the rug or whatever they want to do. But we're going to see a lot of off the field things. And like I said, the mental psyche is going to change. The landscape of the mental psyche of a college athlete is going to change in the next 4 or 5 years, big time.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, what were you going to say, Jerome? I think you had a statement you were about to make.
No, I was saying, where's your son at, man?
Oh, my son's at a Division II, Southwest Minnesota State.
Okay, good. Hey, good for him. I don't give a damn where he at. If he's in school, I tell all kids that. If you look, I don't give a damn where he at. It could be St. Mary's Dominican in Nebraska. If somebody is paying for him to go to college, I give a damn about that. I tell kids all the time, look, man, your mother and father has invested in you. It's time for you not to invest in them. Stop all that crying and do what you're supposed to do. I'm a firm believer in that, man. I don't care who's offering you something. You got to take that money. You got to take that money. I don't give a damn where it's at. Everybody want to go to USC. I get it. Everybody want to go to Alabama. I get it. But everybody is not an Alabama or LSU kid. I get it.
Nope.
Yeah, all kids have dreams. But I will say this before I go. Did y'all heard any conservative media say anything about Aaron Rodgers to shut up and dribble? Right?
Oh, that's a boy.
I
didn't hear that one. No, that's yeah. He didn't say that.
Why you bring that near the tail end of what we talk about? We could, man.
He doesn't have the complexion for the commentary, so that's the truth.
I didn't think so.
Let's give it another 5 days and see what happens because again it's starting to bubble up now. But Go, Montel. I know you on the roll, brother, but I'll let you get this last word before I close it out, man. But that's man, you opened up another box right there.
Oh man, that was deep, man. That's he swung for the fence on that one.
Yeah.
No man, but I like first of all, thank both you brothers for coming on the show. giving your opinions. I think, we're doing that deep dive just to have that conversation to give people the power of no. May not solve the issue, but giving them the power of the no makes them make a sound decision and a better decision based on themselves. And I think that the mental psyche and talking about the the NIL and things like this is something that's going to affect all of us, within the near future and there to come on. So man, we just blessed for you guys to come on, and man, thank you very much.
Definitely. I say that ditto.
Yeah.
I tell you what, before I close, David, you got any place that you want to point people to in terms of social media or anything that you rocking out with?
Come check me out. I'm the Blurred Hulk. I have a Marvel podcast called the Marvel Tribe. We're under the umbrella of Walt's Apartment. So right now we're number 45 on Apple Music. On Apple Podcasts for entertainment. So check us out. We're growing. If you love Marvel fandom and all things Disney, definitely check me out, and hopefully I get invited to come back and guest here. I had fun. This was amazing, and I actually learned some stuff. Not that I didn't expect to learn anything, but you guys gotta check out this podcast. I'm a fan. I'm subscribing, and hopefully I can come back on at some point in the future.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother.
Wakanda, baby. Wakanda for everyone. Wakanda.
That's what's up.
Coach Jerome Johnson, talk to the folks real quick.
Man, I just want to say thank you, man, to everybody, because I've been waiting to do this for a long time with you, James, and man, I'm just proud of you, to even have this platform to do what you do. I follow you. I watch what you do, watch what you say from the technical point. Now from the athletic side of it, I think this is awesome, man. And I didn't even know Montreal was on it with you. And I think this is awesome. So if you invite me back, man, I'm coming back on, and hopefully one day I'll, maybe get a media platform and start doing a little something. But for right now, hey, man, I'm gonna continue to be a subscriber and follow.
Awesome. Appreciate you, brother. We doing what we do, folks. This is Team No Sleep. We always go beyond the story. We hit the hard questions before the mainstream media, and hopefully the mainstream media and hopefully the locker rooms and the coaches will talk about some of these topics, right? Because again, it's incredibly important. And again, when you got 16, 17, 18 years old now with 6-7 figures in their bank account, and they've coming from having only $10, $20, $50, that's a conversation needs to happen, and the whole ecosystem surrounding that again, right? So schooling, athletics, the academic pieces, societal issues, mental issues, and things like that. It's real. So hopefully folks will start taking this to heart. Thank you three for being here. This is what we do, y'all. Team No Sleep. Subscribe, and we'll catch y'all next week. We out.